Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that the rumor everyone dismissed as too wild to be true has quietly refused to die. Not because of gossip accounts, not because of fan edits, but because small, almost invisible details kept surfacing and lining up. Today's story begins with a luxury duplex in the clouds, whispered sightings, unexplained overlaps, and two of the most closely watched stars in C-drama history. For years, fans were told it was coincidence, a misunderstanding, creative imagination. But what if the truth was never meant to be loud? What if it was hidden in plain sight this entire time? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you may never look at Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan the same way again. When people first started mentioning a so-called Cloud9 duplex, it sounded like another internet fantasy, the kind that explodes overnight and disappears just as fast. But this one didn't fade. It lingered, quietly, almost stubbornly. And the more people tried to debunk it, the more questions it raised. Why did certain timelines overlap too perfectly? Why did interior details shared months apart look strangely similar? And why did discussions around this topic feel sensitive? Now let's slow down for a moment. This story is not about accusations, it's not about labeling relationships, it's about patterns, about unanswered questions, about why fans across Asia, Europe, North America, Australia, and beyond all started asking the same thing at the same time. And before you decide what you believe, I want you to hear the full story. It all traces back to a period when both Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan were at career crossroads, explosive popularity, intense scrutiny. Every move watched, analyzed, replayed frame by frame. During this time, privacy wasn't just valuable. It was survival. So when rumors surfaced that both stars had access to a high-end duplex in a private, elevated residential complex, nicknamed Cloud9 by fans, it immediately raised eyebrows. At first, the whispers were subtle. A comment here, a deleted post there. Fans noticed that both stars seemed to disappear from public view at oddly similar times. Not officially, not announced. Just gaps. And in those gaps, something interesting happened. Interior shots appeared online. Nothing dramatic. A corner of a room, a window view, a piece of furniture. But then someone noticed something that couldn't be unseen. The layout looked identical. Same ceiling height, same window angle, same muted luxury aesthetic. Coincidence? Possibly. High-end apartments often follow similar designs. That explanation worked, until it didn't. Because when fans compared timestamps, lighting conditions, and even the way reflections appeared on glass surfaces, things started getting uncomfortable. The kind of uncomfortable that makes people say, "Let's not talk about this." And that's when the silence became louder than the rumor itself. What made this situation even more intriguing was how carefully both sides avoided direct acknowledgement. No denials, no clarifications, just strategic distance. And in the world of celebrity media, silence is rarely accidental, especially when even the smallest rumor usually gets addressed immediately. Now, before we go further, let me ask you something. If you're enjoying this deep dive so far, tap that like button. It tells the algorithm you want more stories like this, and it helps this channel keep bringing you the hidden layers behind your favorite C-drama stars. Back to the duplex. Fans began calling it Cloud9, not because of an official name, but because of its rumored elevation, privacy, and almost unreachable exclusivity. The kind of place where paparazzi can't camp outside, where elevators don't stop unless they're programmed to, where privacy isn't requested. It's built in. What raised more questions was how both Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan at different times hinted at having a safe place. Somewhere away from the noise, somewhere they could breathe. The language was vague, carefully chosen, but the sentiment was the same. Then came the scheduling overlaps. There were moments when both stars were supposedly in different cities, working on different projects, yet small details didn't align. A background sound, a familiar skyline, a similar weather pattern at the same hour, individually meaningless, together harder to dismiss. And just when the discussion started gaining traction again, it stopped. Posts vanished, accounts went private, keywords became unsearchable overnight. That's when many fans felt something shift. Because rumors usually spread faster when they're false, but this one felt contained, almost managed. Here's where things get even more interesting. Industry insiders, speaking hypothetically of course, have long suggested that top-tier celebrities often invest in shared safe spaces, not necessarily as a statement, not necessarily romantic. Sometimes it's about trust, about knowing exactly who has access to your life when the world refuses to leave you alone. And in an industry where reputations are fragile and narratives are tightly controlled, discretion becomes currency. So when fans began speculating that the Cloud9 duplex wasn't about ownership, but access, the conversation shifted. It wasn't who bought it. It became who feels safe there. And that's a very different question. Let's pause here, because this next part is where many people started changing their minds. There was a moment, brief, almost forgettable, when Wang Yibo mentioned feeling grounded during a particularly chaotic period. Around the same time, Xiao Zhan spoke about returning to a place that feels familiar. No addresses, no names, just feelings. But fans noticed the timing. They always do. And then there was the furniture. Yes, furniture. An identical custom piece appeared in 2 separate posts, months apart. Same fabric, same stitching, same placement relative to the window. High-end custom furniture is not mass-produced. That doesn't mean it's impossible. But it does mean it's uncommon, especially when paired with all the other similarities. At this point, many viewers around the world began asking, if this is all coincidence, why does it keep repeating? Now, if you're new here, this is a good time to subscribe. We don't jump to conclusions. We connect dots carefully. And we always respect the line between curiosity and speculation. As the Cloud9 discussion continued quietly, something else happened. The narrative around Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan subtly changed. Interviews became more guarded. Personal questions were redirected. Smiles lingered a second longer than necessary, or disappeared entirely when certain topics came up. Was it pressure, growth, media training, or something else? No one can say for sure. But what we do know is this. When 2 of the biggest stars in the industry move with synchronized caution, it's rarely random. Some fans believe the Cloud9 duplex represents a shared chapter that was never meant for public consumption. Others believe it's simply a convenient overlap inflated by passionate fandoms. Both perspectives deserve a space, and that's what makes this story so compelling. There is no official confirmation, no dramatic reveal, just a trail of breadcrumbs that refuses to disappear. And maybe that's the point. In an era where celebrities are expected to share everything, the most powerful statement can be choosing what not to say. As we reach the final part of this story, I want you to reflect on something. Why does this rumor still matter years later? Why do people across continents keep revisiting it? It's not just about Wang Yibo. It's not just about Xiao Zhan. It's about the idea that even under relentless spotlight, some truths remain untouched. And maybe that's exactly how they want it. If you've made it this far, comment below with one word, coincidence, or connection. I'm reading every single one. Because whether the Cloud9 duplex is a shared sanctuary, a misunderstood overlap, or simply a symbol of how deeply fans observe every detail, One thing is undeniable. This story isn't going away. Not because of scandal, but because of silence. And sometimes, silence tells the loudest story of all.